Chapter 12. Tippy Toe. For the time being, I had to drop the dog problem. We were used to avoiding the curs anyway. But until I could manage to get rid of those buzz machines that were making them crazy, we would just have to be more careful. Word had come through the squirrel network that Big Daddy Spud of the ground squirrels would meet with me behind the abandoned burger and bean bowl. Humans used the old lot to toss their heaps of trash. No self-respecting squirrel would nest there. Neutral territory. You usually brought 2 or 3 escort squeaks to these kinds of things. I brought Fuzz Fountain Cortez because she could race a falling raindrop and beat it to the ground, and Bear Bodkin because he could crack a nut with nothing but his paws. When we arrived, a half-dozen ground squirrels stopped us, squat tails up. In front crouched Pug Muffin Top. She used to be famous, that one. When I was a tot, she came to town with the circus, but stayed behind when the circus left. Now she was just an old groundie who used to rustle cans for peanuts. "Just you?" said Pug. Cortez and Bear's tails twitched, agitated. My stomach felt tight as an acorn in its shell. If Miranda's account of events was slanted, Big Daddy Spud might well be setting up a trap. Could he do me in and then seize leadership of the tree squirrels? I spotted Puffin first slide, the groundie who'd call me ma'am. "Hey, Puffin, did Miranda chitter true to Spud about our little husking earlier?" "Total peaches," he said. Or half a peach, anyway. I thatched the spots that she left out. "Cortez, Bear, I trust this squeak. Nest here for a bit. I'm going in." "This is some sour bark tips," Cortez said. "You on top?" "Solid like ironwood, cousin." I walked into the lot alongside Puffin, knowing I hadn't already answered Cortez's question. Big Daddy Spud was perched on a mound in the center of the dump. He was way bigger than a ground squirrel should be. There were rumors that his mother was a marmot. "Tippy Toe, leaves above, it's good to see you," he shouted. "So nice of you to scamper by." The dump mounds were alive with chitters and the flickering glints of ground squirrel eyes. The territory was not so neutral after all. "This your burrow now, Spud?" I asked. I looked to the open sky above. "Seems like you could get caught with your tails out. You opening a hawk buffet?" Spud giggled. It was a strange sound to hear coming from such a large rodent. "No eater birds pass these mounds anymore, not ones that we can't beat shuck and send back to Eggtown. But to answer your question," he said, gesturing around the lot-turned garbage dump, "this is an off-track burrow, used for special occasions." "Honored to be special," I said. "You should be," he said. "But chew before spit, cousin. Let me apologize for the cat wrangling done to you by Miranda Creepsforth. She was not acting under orders. Not root to branch, as you tree squeaks say." "Nuts under the hoard," I said, willing to let it go. "Nuts indeed," Spud said. "And peaches in the end, as you wanted to chitter straight." "Yes," I said. "You seen the traps? The ones made to catch squeaks?" "Made to kill squeaks, you mean," he said. "That's them," I said. "Seen them iron tooth myself," he said, "and we've lost 2 of our family to them in our very own burrows." "Underground?" I asked. "I've only ever seen them in trees and parks." "The traps nest where the squirrels nest, which, as you know, is everywhere. Ground and tree mean nothing to these bad weevils, whoever they may be. To them we are the same. I think the season has come to unite." "But who is root and who is branch, Tippy Toe?" he asked. "Do you lead my people? Puffin Slide seems to trust you, but I suspect most of us think you don't give a nut husk about groundies. Would you allow me to govern your people?" "Nah," I said, "I wouldn't, but the need for unity stands. I have a suggestion," but he trailed off, his expression distant. Then the big squirrel stood up on his hind legs and called out, "Potty break!" About 50 ground squirrels, nosing out of the heaps of trash, fell in line behind Big Daddy Spud as he lumbered to a dark mound in the corner of the lot. Puffin Slide was at the back of the line, and I called him over. "Do you guys always do this?" I whispered. "Go potty at the same time?" "As long as I can remember, yeah," he said. "Unified waste management is very important to the boss." Squirrels began exiting the potty mound. Big Daddy Spud climbed back to his perch. "Now," he chittered, "where were we?" "You had a suggestion," I squeaked, trying not to laugh at the whole potty thing. The situation was tense enough as it is. I did, Spud said. It is this. I offer you military command of our mighty squirrels, but only to husk the nut of our mysterious enemy. There were gasps from the burrows. Big Daddy Spud raised a silencing paw. This I will do if, he added, you are able to prove yourself a worthy warrior by defeating a superior opponent. He slapped the ground 3 times, and out of that distant dark heap, the one they all had gone potty in, thundered an honest-to-nuts, true-blood marmot. If I thought Spud was big, this thing was clearly here to teach me what big really was. The creature stomped to Spud's side, its fur glistening with what I hoped was sweat. Ew. Gross, I whispered, unable to stop myself. This is Cletus Scampersaw, my brother from another mother, said Big Daddy Spud. I wanted to ask him if he was really sure about the another mother part, but now probably wasn't the time. I also wanted to confirm the moisture on Cletus's fur was sweat, but again, not a good time. Cletus is my top warrior, Spud said. If you can best him in battle, I will know you have the right combination of strength and smarts to guide my people to victory. I fight to survive, or to right wrongs, or for revenge, or at least on one occasion for an orange gumdrop, but I don't fight for sport. And fighting my own kind, even cousins like marmots, felt like shelling a nut twice. Isn't there some other way? I started to say, but Spud shouted, Cletus, fight! And the marmot charged. I leaped, sailing over Cletus, but he bucked his head as I did, knocking one of my legs mid-flight. My landing was not as graceful as I would have liked, and as soon as I was on my feet again, Cletus had turned and was charging again. We moved like this, charging and leaping, charging and leaping. I couldn't think of a way to win without seriously hurting him, and I certainly didn't want to hurt him. We might need this warrior's help in our fight against the trapmaker. He charged again, and I leaped again, only this time he stopped short, rearing up on his hind legs. He caught my tail and threw me to the ground. I managed to roll away before he pounced, then twisted back to grab hold of his moist back fur. He reared, but I leaped fully atop his back, clinging to his fur with all 4 paws. It was a wild ride, and everyone was shouting, but the tone of the shout started to change from excitement to panic. Then I heard it too. Big paws slapping the earth, rapid breathing, the screams of squirrel guards, and then, above it all, Cortez's panic shouting. Dog, she yelled, a split second before the beast was upon us.